I'm joined by Wade Allen. He's the SVP and Head of Innovation for Brinker International. Hi, Wade. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Great. Well, thank you. Tell me about your role at Brinker and what you are focused on right now.
You bet. So the title is SVP Head of Innovation. And innovation is a broad term, but it really covers three key areas. Engineering, which is all the schematics and operation functions inside of the restaurant related to the kitchen. We have what's called a virtual brand division that we focus on. And that's what we've recently launched with It's Just Wings. And so I'm leading that charge and kind of pushing for some future opportunities there. And then culinary and culinary ops, which is crazy. Why would you put a tech guy over culinary? But that is what's happened these days. And I'm loving it and learning so much about kitchen and kitchen science and culinary. So it's been great.
That's cool. Kitchen science. I like those terms together, you know, never thought I'd heard that. But, you know, everything's possible these days. So it kind of makes a little bit of sense in our topsy-turvy world. But let's talk a little bit about like when COVID first hit. I guess it was like mid-March when things really started kind of rolling and people started kind of just having to see what could they do to pivot their operations in every way to serve their customers, if they could even serve their customers. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what you guys did with your technology to kind of get out and get where the customer needed you to be at the time to serve them.
Yeah. So it came very, very fast, and we didn't have the luxury of actually hiring out to think through things and change strategy, which is sometimes what we do with consulting groups. So we jumped in a whiteboarded session and just tried to move quickly and said, what do we have at our disposal that we can change to meet the guest where they are? And what the guest was in the parking lot. So we changed this whole focus on the dining room to be the parking lot is the new dining room. What that required us to do is rethink how do you use the technology that we're using in the dining room, such as kind of Yelp's no-wait system and our Presto tabletops to work in the parking lot. And so that started with the Wi-Fi. We had to change some of the Wi-Fi frequencies to make sure that we could reach the parking lot. Once we did that, then we could use our Presto tabletop solutions in the parking lot to take payment for guests. And we could use our Yelp tablet that was our table management system in the restaurant, almost like a quarterback. So we would know what stall a car pulled into. We could identify if it was a DoorDash driver, if it was a pickup, if it was a paid to-go order, whatever it may have been. And then that would be entered into the system, and somebody inside of our restaurant would be packing and racking and stacking all those orders and using that other side of the tablet to say, oh, DoorDash orders here. Oh, but to-go orders here. Make sure you take a payment out because they haven't paid online. They need to pay through the tablet. So that's what we moved really quickly on to salvage as many sales as we could and to continue to meet the guests where they needed during COVID.
Yeah, that's great. The idea of the quarterback is fun. It's so great because you have so many moving parts. When you have that as it used to be, I'm not sure what percentage of off-prem was before COVID versus now, but I'm sure that it would just exponentially was your business.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were probably with delivery and to go together, we were below 20, we were in the 18s. Now with COVID, at one point, I think we flexed all the way into, you know, at one point we were 100% of our restaurant because it was closed. I think we've settled back into that kind of 50-50 model. And I honestly don't think the world's going back, even when dining rooms open, because we've changed the way and taught people to purchase in a different way.
Right, consumer behavior has had to shift. Even when you think of contactless payments and technologies that have been kind of on the back burner for so long, they've kind of come to the forefront now. Yep, tell us a little bit about your app that you guys have kind of homegrown there, and what kind of experience that is and what you guys are moving towards when it comes to consumer using the app and how, you know, fast and cool and seamless it is.
So I'm really proud of that. I've spent the better part of my career here at Brinker, 7 years working on the app and web and loyalty and a few of these other things. It's evolved along and come a long way. Some of the key features I really think are powerful. One, obviously, the geolocation capability and feature that allows people when they arrive to notify us that they're in the parking lot and that they're here. And that kind of geofencing kind of location services has been in our app for quite some time, but it's become so useful now with COVID. It fires to our kitchen display system so our team members can see that I have arrived, and it lines up to, hey, he's here, he's ready to pick up his order, and the time that he needs to pick that up is shortly. The other thing that I've been really excited about is we are relaunching a new digital platform in the beginning of the year, and it's really about focused on the flexibility for our key customer. And if you know our key customer, our target really is a little bit older millennial mom, and her focus is on flexibility. And she does not choose casual dining primarily because she's worried about, hey, I don't know when my kids are going to be done eating and want to leave, and I'll need the option to pay, and I can't get the team member or flag down the team member to be here.
Yeah.
Or I can't be guaranteed a table. So this new technology we're building will be right in the app, right part of the web experience, and it will allow her to make a selection. Do you want it delivered? Do you want it to have curbside? Or do you want to actually pre-order it, eat it in the restaurant, and pay and go on your kind of timetable? So we're super excited about the next steps in the mobile web, or the web and mobility that we're bringing.
And you think that'll be out like in the coming months, that functionality, that new functionality that you speak of? I know now you already have a consumer experience in your web and your app and everything.
Yeah, the new one we're thinking, I think, we kind of guesstimated where it'll be. I think it'll happen right after the holidays is where we think it'll be. I think it'll be ready. We'll be tested before then, but we want to wait until after the holidays to really launch it.
Yeah, after the holiday rush for sure. That's smart. Now tell me about your partnership with DoorDash. I know that you have exclusivity there. Kind of what was the sort of, deciding factor there, and how has that partnership been for you guys? Obviously you're such a large scale partner for them.
So it's been great. We tested a lot of different delivery partners. We worked with a lot of delivery partners, but in the end, it came down to DoorDash was willing to provide us, for exclusivity, DoorDash was willing to give us a great rate. They were really focused on integrating into our technology, so we didn't have to transpose orders, right? Which was a big deal when you're taking tons and tons of to-go and delivery orders. And then they've been just a great partner with us from the beginning around wanting to win together. So it wasn't about just lacing the pocketbooks with dollars, but it was like, hey, what works for you guys? What works for us? How do we make this all kind of come together and be successful as a team? All the way up from Tony at the top of the food chain and the CEO, all the way down to the customer teams that we work with every single day. So that was the reason we really went down that path.
That's very refreshing, especially when you think about the integration. Because I know that you're on the board of RTN, and we appreciate your service there and your commitment, your leadership. And, we're trying to come up with industry standards that sort of help when it comes to the pain points related to integration. And right now we're working on, coming out with a menu synchronization standard that will help any third party consuming that menu data. And then also, the open API framework. So tell us just a tad bit about, what your thoughts are on those kinds of industry initiatives.
So one of the things I hear over and over again at the RTN is that a lot of the brands don't have the depth of pocketbook or dollars and cash and resources that we have had at Brinker to really kind of be out on that bleeding edge and developing our own APIs and working with integration. And so when you don't live in that world, it is really frustrating and really hard because you don't have standardization. You don't have the dollars to go pay for those integration pieces. And you need something that's a playbook that you can just pick up and use to kind of uniform and control that environment. So what the RTN is doing in that specific area is huge. It's going to change dining and change restaurants going forward. It's going to set a standard that all of the partners that we work with will know what that needs to look like going forward. So I kudos to the RTN for the groups that have leaned in on that to allow that to happen, because it's been needed for years, but hasn't really made progress until I would say the RTN got involved and really has been bullish on pushing that forward.
Yeah, we really think that it's kind of the first chance, and hopefully the industry, we feel like the industry is taking a hold of it and embracing it, and is, I think, kind of come to the breaking point to where it's kind of like, it's a must do, right? We've got to do this together.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit, for my last question, I really want to know about It's Just Wings. Tell me about how successful it's been so far. We've heard all the buzz in the press, and kind of, how you guys stepped into that virtual brand world.
Yeah, so first I would tell you that it was a long time coming. So we've been talking about it for a long time. COVID accelerated it for sure, because we saw the opportunity and we said, let's roll the dice. But we had been testing it and looking at it for a while. I will tell you, it was nerve-wracking. So we built this virtual brand in DoorDash. It's a wings concept. We're really good at wings, but we just didn't have really the brand that could sit alongside some of these other brands that deliver wings, even though we had a great product and we knew the sauces and our culinary team was some of the best in the business. So this gave us an opportunity to play differently. We rolled the dice, and on June 23rd, we launched 1,050 restaurant kitchens, and that was both Chili's and Maggiano's kitchens, which to my knowledge, that's the biggest restaurant rollout I've ever heard of. Not to mention virtual
Period.
Brinker.
Virtual, I mean, of course, you can't do that with a real one, right? But I mean, with a brick and mortar. But I mean, that is just amazing that it was that quick.
Yeah, and it was crazy. And no, I think it looks easy on the surface. I will tell you, it is complex, and there is a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot in our industry that are going to test this, but very few that I think are going to really see success with it at scale. Part of that is just being able to own your restaurants. Part of that's having great partners and suppliers. Part of that's understanding the operational place to play. And then the last part is really building a brand. And if you can check the box on all of those, you might be a player that has a shot at winning here. If you don't, you may be at smaller scale and have to just kind of settle for the single digit one-offs that can help your brand grow. But man, it's been a lot of fun and fast and furious for sure.
Yes. Well, continued success with it. I know it's been crazy. So any other last words of wisdom for the industry? We have a lot of folks watching here, a lot of your peers, restaurant technologists that are kind of either struggling and or looking to pivot and bring in additional revenue streams in any way they can. Any kind of, I don't know, words of advice or wisdom you would have just to offer folks that are listening in to us now?
Yeah, I think I would take the words, we've all heard it that the world's changed and we must act differently. I think you have to take those to heart. Mm-hmm. Really take them to heart. It's not about doing the same thing slightly different. This is a revolution. You have to completely disrupt. And sometimes the things that you think are the most nutty ideas out there that would otherwise not have would have never played in a regular world, you need to reconsider those because they may actually win in the crazy world that we're currently living in. And that's what we've tried to do, is just come up. Any idea is a good idea, toss it up on the board, be totally out of the box, think differently, think about different industries, airlines, grocery, think about retail, think about service industries. How are they doing it and how are they winning? And we're adopting some of those models to see if we can shift things around and have permission to play differently.
I think those are great words of wisdom and great words to end on. So Wade, with that, thank you so much for your time today. Yeah. We appreciate your involvement in the RTN and everything you're doing for the industry. Continued success with everything you're doing at Brinker. It's Just Wings looks like a huge hit. And I encourage everybody to check it out. So
thank you very much. It was awesome. Great to be here.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Take care.